Learning to play the piano or keyboard can be as challenging as it is rewarding. In some ways, it's literally like learning a new language. And in addition, you need to learn a new way of communicating that language. Learning scales is one of the most important aspects of understanding and learning to play the piano. However, there are many different types of scales that you can choose to learn. For example, there's the chromatic scale where you simply play all the white and black keys in order. And then there are more challenging scales like the melodic minor scale, which is played one way going up and another way coming down. By far the most common and widely used scales in Western popular music are the major and natural minor scales. The major and minor scales give learners a good basic understanding of how music works, and from this they can better understand and progress to the more complex scales. A piano is made up of 12 keys that repeat in what are called octaves. There are 7 white keys and 5 black keys, referred to as sharps or flats. Here you can see 1 octave, and here you can see 2. And these repeat along the piano. Each key has its own major and minor scale, each scale requiring a unique combination of keys to be pressed. Major scales have a happy sound, for example the D major scale, which is made up of 6 white keys and 2 black keys. By far the easiest major scale is the C major scale, which is simply made up of all the white keys. Each note has both a major scale and a minor scale. For example, to go from D major to D minor, we take the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th intervals and lower them by a half step. This is the case with all the major scales. With the C major scale, for example, if we take, again, the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th intervals, lower them by a half step, we get the C minor scale. So again, every note on the piano or keyboard has both a major scale and a natural minor scale. Minor scales. Minor scales share the same set of keys as the major scale that they're related to, but simply start at a different point. Minor keys are often said to have a sadder or darker sound than the major keys. If we take the 6th interval of any major scale, we have the first note of the relative minor scale. And this relative minor scale runs along the same keys as the related major scale. With the C major scale, we see that the 6th interval of the C major scale is A, giving us the A minor scale, again running along exactly the same keys as the C major scale. So there are 2 ways that we can look at scales. We can look at them in terms of their major and relative minor scales, or we can look at each letter's individual major and minor scales. So in total there are 24 major and minor scales, 12 major and 12 minor. Now imagine if you could see all this information every time you sat down to play the piano. How good would it be if your piano could communicate with you? Imagine if your piano or keyboard could show you all the keys to each and every major and minor scale, without you having to look in a book or at a separate sheet of paper. Imagine if in addition to this your piano could also tell you which finger should play each note of each scale. Welcome to the world of Scale Genie. With Scale Genie, you have all the major and minor scales literally always under your fingertips. Simply pick a red letter and follow the color.